Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, to Master Sakya Zengkong, to the Shung Rinpoche, to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and Master Dukden Darji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar and the main deity of the group practice, Jambala. Sumo, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our guests of honors today, the accountant of the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, and the president of the Overseas Chinese Association, Mrs. Vivian Xu, and Dr. Zhuang. May all be auspicious. Today we practice Jambala, the yellow Jambala, which is one of the 8 primary deities of True Buddha School. In Buddhism, we Buddhists typically taking fame and gain very lightly. Only this way you can focus on spiritual cultivation. However, in Tantric Buddhism, we have many wealth deities, and the purpose of this is that so everyone has enough resources in their spiritual cultivation, because the fact is, if you lack resources, it would be very hard to practice Tantric Buddhism, because each of the deities, Buddha, Bodhisattva, Heruka, Dharma protectors, the statues, you have to set up altar, and the statues need to be gold or gold-plated, and they're expensive. So if you don't have enough wealth, it would be difficult for you to set up a shrine. And if your shrine is not beautiful or majestic, then it would be hard to keep your mind focused. So in Tantric Buddhism, we have many wealth deity practices, and we can pray to the wealth deities to increase your fortunes. Sometimes we have lots of wealth or resources, and these resources are for us to use in our spiritual cultivation, or in our retreat, or in our secluded lives, and the leftover can be donated or given to those in needs. So you have to donate and to perform charitable work, and in order to do so, you need lots of money. Like the Sheng-Yen Foundation, in Chinese, it's the Sheng-Yen Charitable Trust. So if you don't have enough money in it, how could you perform the charity? That's why you have to have enough wealth or resources. In order to go in retreat, or if you want to retreat or to live in seclusion, you want to live in caves, you still need to give your helper some money so that they could buy all your necessities. Say if you want to be in retreat for half a year, and in Tantric Buddhism, the retreat is 3 years and 3 months and 3 days. So 3 years, 3 months and 3 days. That's the perfect retreat. So what would you eat during those times? That's why you have to enough money to supply the necessities during your retreat. And in Tibet, in order to test for a geshe, so geshe is like a degree, it's like a position. Rinpoche or Living Buddha is just a name that's given to you and not necessarily be respected. But if you're a Rinpoche or Living Buddha and a geshe, then that means you have the knowledge. So you have to perform charity prior to taking the test for geshe. And after you attain the geshe, you still have to perform charity to all the Sangha members. So if you don't have enough money, well, how would you be able to do it? So for all of our daily necessities, it would be possible without enough resources. Talking about human life, there's this statement: human life is like a race. The first half, it depends on your education, power, position, salaries, and your quota. Salaries, the higher the salaries, the higher the positions, the higher the power, and then the higher the education. So you need to compare among people. We compare. But if you compare with others, you would get really upset. If you have no money, you can't do nothing. If you have money, then you're the big boss. And the last half, how would you compare? Blood pressure, blood fat, blood sugar, uric acid, cholesterol. So you compare who has the lowest. So in our human lives, there's the first half. We compare how much we have, and then the last half, we compare how little we have. So in the last half, we just follow our faith and destiny. You could be born wealthy. That's the first half. The last half, it depends. You accept your faith. So you have to be strong and win in the first half and the second half. So even when you have no illness, you still have to go for medical checkup. Even if you're not thirsty, you have to drink. And even if you're right, you still have to endure. Even if you're not tired, you have to rest. It doesn't matter how busy you are, you still have to exercise. This makes sense. I missed a couple there, sorry.
还有一个人生是这样子讲。
And then you can say this about human life.
坐国光号一样，国光号的车子。
So it's like taking a bus.
这就讲的是台北。
This is about Taipei.
如果经过东七呀，台北的东
If
西，
you pass by the east
你要
side,
繁华。
you admire the
经过的凯达格兰大道。
the good
幻
part.
想前，幻想前。
When you pass by the
经过了金融街，
government area,
你要
you
梦想发财。
you
经过高级
you dream
住
of
宅区
power, and then
要
if you
遥想
go past the business area, you think that you were
经
wealthy.
过滨
If you
海
pass
中
by the
人人之
the
秀
rich areas, you think that you are
这时
also
候有一
rich.
个声音啊，飘然
And
入
then if you pass by the
啊，乘客你好，
brief area,
金
then
宝山滚场快要到了，
and then there was a sound in
顿
the
时
bus
醒
that,
悟，这个就是人生。
dear passengers, now we are about to reach at the cemetery. Please wake up.
所以人
So
生
that's
讲
human life.
名啊，利啊，
So fame
还是要争
and
争好。
power, you still have to fight for it in the first half of your life. And then in the last half of your life, you need to take care of your body and cultivate spiritually.
教跟显教一样，
So Tantric Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism are the same. You have to practice first the foundation and then the accumulation of resources, because without enough resources, it is hard to cultivate spiritually.
啊，我讲修资粮道的意思就是说，我们修财神法，就是在修资粮道。
So in the practice
啊，今天
to
我们
accumulate
修正法，
resources,
修
it's by practicing the wealth deities. Like this evening, we practice Jambala.
资粮道，
Jambala is one of the 8 primary deities,
运气好一点，
and
什么事情
you
都顺
still have to practice this in your accumulation of merits, so that everything goes according to your
薪水
wishes.
又高，
You would have raise in your salaries,
升
you have
职
earn lots of money,
上来一个总管，
and you are
所有
promoted
的
to become the boss.
人都是你在管，所有的金钱
Then you manage everyone, then you would earn more than others,
都很顺利。
and everything goes according to your wishes.
大家有
And then, please remember that you have to cultivate spiritually.
好，我们今天在讲这个心经堂啊，
Now let's continue talking about Hevajra.
起心纲第29章，是讲无主气，无主气。
Chapter
那么我们修
29,
这个
the 5 primary qis. In
就
practicing
一
to
定要
open the
气
central channel,
进气中脉才可以。
we have to have the qi to
那么你
enter
要
the
修
central
左
channel.
火，
To practice the inner
一样
fire
要有
or
气
tumo, it's the
去
same.
吹那个火。
You need to have the qi
好，我上回讲过
to blow on the fire.
金将金将金将
I've said this before.
这个火车也是靠气
Like the train also has to rely on the qi, on the air to blow on the fire of the
用
coal
它的力量去推
and
啊去
generate
推那个
heat,
铁轮
and
火
to
车
use the
在推
power to
这
push
个轮子一
on
转
the
后，把所有的火车
iron
全部
wheels of the
带动
locomotive, and then can carry all the train carriages.
才能够
So this relies on the qi or air and the heat So the inner fire practice is the same. You have to rely on the qi to blow on the fire of your body. Your body has temperature, and the origin, the source of the heat is the forefinger width below your navel. And that's the origin. And you need to practice the qi to blow on the inner fire. Only this way you can open the central channel, and you would have strong and robust qi. And then you can melt the light drops and to let it drip. Nothing can be apart from the qi. When a person is alive, that's because there is qi. When you don't have one more breath, you would die in how many minutes? Without a breath of air, very fast. Like in the movies, someone used a plastic bag and wrap it on your head, and you lack air, and in a few minutes you would die. Without a breath of air, you would die. It's not that all is gone when you die. When a person dies, you have to rely on the heart qi to push it out from the top of the head. Have you seen this when someone dies? When they're dying, they're struggling for a while, and then all of a sudden, when the heart qi is moving, the head would be lifted a little bit, and then from here, it would go out, and then he would lie down and died. Have you seen this? It happened when it left from here. The head would be lifted a little bit and struggled a little bit, and then the qi and the mind, consciousness or heart would leave from here. And then at this time, he would become a spirit or bardo. Mahayana Buddhism focuses on the mind and concepts. Although it does not stress the practice of qi, qi is still part of it. If you don't want to practice qi, you just want to become pure. But at that time, your mind is calm. Your mind can be calm only when the qi is calm. If the qi is not harmonized, you cannot have a calm mind. In order to enter into meditation, you have to harmonize the qi very well. Although Mahayana Buddhism does not stress the practice of qi channel and light drop, they only practice meditation. But even meditating, you have to rely on qi, that the qi has to be harmonized really well, really balanced. Then your mind will be calm. But if the qi is tumbling and in topsy-turvy, then you would increase your troubles. Then if the qi is not calm, the mind will not be calm. For the mind to be calm, the qi has to be calm. So although Mahayana Buddhism doesn't focus on the practice of qi, qi is in the middle of it. And Tantric Buddhism focuses on the unity of the mind and qi. Without qi, the mind, the consciousness, and the thoughts will not be able to function. These two limbs are moving because your mind asks it to move, and they can move because of the qi are moving. The same with the legs. I've told this joke. A 90-year-old man is celebrating his birthday on his own. So he's lifting two arms. Oh, not bad. I could still lift my arms. Hands. Oh, my hands. You're also 90 years old. And then he lifted up two legs and moved them. Oh, feet, my feet. You're also 90 years old. And then this man looked down and looked at the place where the two legs meet and then sighed. Oh, if you're still alive, you would have been 90 years old. For most 90-year-old men, that place is dead, can never be alive. So is there use to use the mind to let it up? No use. My heart wants it to go up. Let's save it. It still cannot go up. It's dead. Why could he move the arms and the legs but not that place, that part? Why? Because there is no qi. Qi and the blood are together. That's why we call it the qi and the blood. Blood and the qi. If the qi cannot make the blood flow to that part, it cannot listen to your command. When you're 90 years old, your arms and your legs are still okay, but there's some part of you that's already dead. Why? Because there's no qi. Because the blood doesn't flow to that part, and there is no more qi. So that's qi. So wherever there is qi, then that part would be alive. If qi doesn't go into that part would be dead. Without qi, the mind, the consciousness, the thoughts will not be able to function. Don't you think so? It's simple. The example that I gave earlier, very simple. Oh, you're 90 years old, you still have good body with muscles. Because wherever the parts that have qi, that's fine, but that part without qi, it's dead. If the qi can go there, that there would be life. And when qi cannot go there, they would be dead. Dead in Japanese. This is very important. Right, Master Lian Hua? Only when qi arrives, when qi is there, then there would be function. Without qi, they'll be dead. I admire Master Lian Hua. He's in his 70s and he still goes all over the world. He's still full of life. You're 76. He still looks good. We say that when someone has a good complexion, it's because the blood the blood goes there, but you still have to be careful because that may show hypertension. But you cannot be too pale because then you have low blood pressure. You have not enough blood. Too pale. You have to be a little bit of blush. Some parts, if it's red, then that means you have hypertension. Simu would know. It's the tip of the nose. That means you have hypertension. Is the tip of my nose red? When we were young, we abuse our bodies, and when we are old, the body abuses us. So please be careful on how we use our bodies. Take good care of it. Little Mary got 0 in her test and then cried to her dad, "I don't know anything." And the dad got really angry. "Don't you even know how to cheat?" Something wrong with the dad. He should educate her and to study and not to cheat. If you cheat when you're young, maybe you would cheat when you grow up. That's not good. You have to have both good virtues and knowledge. Then the teacher would give good score on virtues and on knowledge. In my high school, the teacher gave me first grade, which is top in virtues and knowledge. So I also had this experience in my life. So here I would like to outline the 5 primary qis. One is the life qi that's not moving at the heart chakra, that there is no separation between the body and mind, and the self and the ego clinging are together. And the heart or life qi controls the heartbeats. That's his function. And the movements of the upper body and breathing, and including judgments, blessings, and practicing bliss. And that's considered illusory body. The heart qi is at the heart chakra. And this heart can also be said that it is the ability to judge, to give blessings, and to practice bliss. That's the function of the heart. Heartbeats and breathings are all the functions of this qi. In meditation, that was in Tantric Buddhism, in meditation, it is the long-term meditation of empty clarity, transparency, and radiance. If there is an ailment, it would be diseases due to the qi, blood, and air in the heart. So problems with qi, blood, air, or heart. The second kind is called the residence qi, and also called the fire accompanying qi at the navel chakra, the place of the inner fire and heat. Because this qi is helping the inner fire moving all over the body. This qi primarily controls the food intake and digestions. In meditation, it is the short-term meditation of bliss and emptiness. It is the key place for the inner fire practice. It is called the fire accompanying qi or residence qi. Your body temperature is it's due to the fire accompanying qi. It's being distributed by this accompanying qi. If you have problems, it would be in the stomach, intestines, and kidneys. A lot of people are curious, is the stomach moving? Yes, it is moving. The heart is also moving. You cannot tell when the stomach is moving, but the heart you would know. Because the heart, that's the movement of the heart. You would know. Does the stomach move? Yes. In reality, it is. It moves slower. It's also moving. Don't think that it is not moving. For the stomach to digest the food, it has to move and excrete the secretion, and your mouth is the first point and it's moving, and stomach is the second. You take in everything, all kinds of things, and you don't chew it well, and in the stomach use the acid and the convulsion, the movement to digest it. So in order to take care of the stomach, not to work too hard, you have to chew your food well. That's how you should take care of your body. The saliva and the teeth together chew the food well, so that when it reaches the stomach doesn't have to work too hard. If you just swallow when you eat, then your stomach has to work very hard. And the stomach moves rather slow. It moves rather slow. And the heart moves faster. They all move. And the intestines, you don't think the intestines move? They move even slower. It's blues. And the stomach is tango. And the intestine is blues. The 12 convulsion, they are still moving. They also have absorption. And then to the colon, you still need the qi to push the excretion. Otherwise, how would you excrete? I've shown that. Without qi, how could you let it out? So it is pretty good when you can release it. It would be problematic if you cannot release it. One time, we went to Japan with Zhang Wenrui and the third. Zhang Wenrui is an old teacher from Changhua, and he always have constipation. And we are already on the bus at the time is there, and he is not there yet. He wasn't there yet, and what happened? So the tour guide went to his room and knocked on his door, and he said, he's still on the toilet doing his bowel. It just came out a little bit. He couldn't leave, and he couldn't release it. And he was very nervous too, and sweating, and he had hypertension. And his wife was helping. Everyone's already on the bus waiting for you. So he used his hands to pull it out. It was as hard as rocks. And finally, his wife used spoon to scoop it. And cut off. And the other half is still inside. That's for the water. So Zhang Wenrui had to suffer. So every time when we were on the trips, he had constipation, and then he bled, and he had hemorrhage. Oh, but if you use the qi, then you may be able to release it. That's why I say there are a lot of people who died on the toilet because they couldn't release, and they tried, and the blood pressure kept going up, and then they died. So human life. That's why we have to be in balance. Everything has to be just right. The fire and water have to be harmonized just right. If there's too much fire, then it would be dry and hot, and you would have constipation. If you have too much water, you would have diarrhea. So when you harmonize the water and the fire just right, it would be very smooth. Grandmaster typically is like that. Everything is very smooth. It's the water and fire in good balance. This is very important. If you don't harmonize the water and the fire, if you have too much fire, then you would be anxious, dry and hot. There would be constipation. If you have too much water, there would be diarrhea. Mentally, you would have depression. So the concept is the same. Everything has to be in great balance. The same in meditation. Oh. That had to rely on qi too. Without that qi, you will not be able to sneeze like that. Everything relies on qi. In laughing, crying, they all relies on qi. Laughing and crying all rely on qi. Everything, each movement relies on qi. Meditation, anxiety, depression, they all because of qi. And the kidneys, you know, the kidneys have to rely on qi too. When you say there's not enough qi in the kidneys, you would suffer because the kidneys control the bladder and the lower parts of the body. If you don't have enough kidney qi, you will not be able to control. If you cannot control, you're dead. So you have to increase your yin or your yang. To tonify your yin is you help the water. If you tonify the yang, you're helping the fire. That's the theory of Chinese medicine. The Chinese medical doctor is not here, and the dentist has no ways of knowing this. And the lower moving qi is at the secret chakra, primarily controls the pu, the pi, semen, and blood. In meditation, it is the long-term meditation of bliss and emptiness, and it is the key place for the non-leaking practice. If you can control the lower moving qi, that means you can control the urine and the bowel movement. Some people have urine incontinence. The elderly people, they have to wear a diaper because even when they ran to the toilet, they already excrete prior because they cannot control it. That's why the lower moving qi is very important. And the bowel movement, as we have said earlier, also the function of the lower moving qi. Urination too. And also the prostate. Without qi and the prostate is not functional, then you will not be able to control the semen or the blood. And in meditation, it is the long-term meditation of bliss and emptiness. And it is the most important place for non-leaking practice. If there's an ailment, it would be constipation, urine incontinence, and paralysis. These are all due to the function of the lower moving qi. And the upper moving qi is at the throat chakra, primarily controls speaking and the language that you speak, swallowing, vomiting. In meditation, it is the long-term meditation of clear light consciousness. The practice, you can practice the debate or communication. If your tongue is not fluent, then you will not be able to communicate well. If your tongue is very fluent, very alive, then you would always win in debate or communication. If you stutter or you don't speak well, then that's the problem of the upper moving qi. So if there's an ailment, you would be stuttering or dumb. Then you would speak like this. Like I said before, the wine seller brought a very expensive wine bottle and asked the guest, do you want to open, this is play of words in Chinese, do you want to open the wine bottle? And the answer is, oh my God. This is play of words of Chinese. And they brought another bottle of wine. Do you want this? I want me dead. Why do you stutter? Because your tongue is not fluent. And why? Because qi is not to the tongue. So in Tantric Buddhism, there's practices for debate like Manjushri's practice, where you visualize the tongue to be the throat of Manjushri, and Alapajanati. The mantra is here, and Ti is at the navel chakra. And then it moves, it rotates, continue to rotate very fast. Then you would have no challenge in debate or communication. That's the practice. And the peripheral chi is at the crown chakra and the 12 joints. Primarily controls running, jumping, standing. And in meditation, it is all the meditation of bliss and clarity phenomena. It is the key area for the light drop practice, the peripheral chi at the crown chakra. If there is an ailment, it would be in the bones, tendons, joints, and curved spines. Stooping. When you're old, you cannot sit up right. When you're young, you could be erect. Straighten, open up your chest, straighten your spine, pull down your chin, pull down relax your shoulders, pull in your abdomen, and your eyes look straight ahead. Pull in your chin a little bit, and you walk like this. Open your chest. This to train so that you don't stoop. But recently, when Grandmaster eat, I would be like this, and also when I write, that's not good. I should remind myself to be erect. This is the function of the peripheral chi, and it's in all over the body, but primarily here at the crown chakra, and also the 12 joints, the joints of the fingers and the toes. There are also 5 branch chis. They are not primary chi, and that are residing at the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. Those are the 5 branch chi. And the eyes can be open and shut, open and shut. And sometimes, when you're old, your eyelids would droop because the chi are not there. And then you have to go through plastic surgery to lift them up. And the ears would have no good hearing because the chi of the ears are gone. You would have imbalance of the ear lobes. That's because the chi doesn't arrive at the ears. If the chi is at the ears, you would be able to hear well. And nose, in order to smell, also have to rely on chi. When you take in the breath, and the air is nice, and then you would know. When there's a smell, and there's the smell of the urine, and you know you're approaching a toilet. And the function of tongue for tasting and the body for touching. Tantric practices state that practicing chi is the same as practicing the mind, that mind and chi are never separate. When chi is calm, the mind is calm. When chi is agitated, the mind is agitated. That's why it takes a long period of training before one can harmonize the chi. You need to know how to harmonize the chi. So sometimes, when you have no chi, you cannot do anything, even if you want to. Like what I said about that 90-year-old man. The arms and the legs have chi, But when he looked down at that part, there's no qi in that part. But if you train, and you train your qi and to let qi go to that part, like say if there's a problem in this area, it's sore and painful, you move the qi to that area, and when it's flowing and open, then you will have no more pain. That's how you resolve the pains in your body in tantric practicing. So if there's the pain in your waist, then you move the qi in that area back and forth several times, and the pain will be gone. There is such a method. Sometimes it is really useless. There are two beautiful ladies in an elevator talking about the best whitening cosmetics. And in the elevator, there's also a black person who's listening quietly, and then all of a sudden he told them, "It's no use, I've tried it." That's innate, you were born with it. Sometimes you're born with it. If you're born with dark skin, doesn't matter how you widen it, it's still... I don't discriminate. So for Ching wants to adopt a kid, that's good. Why don't you adopt a black skin kid? I like it. Grandmaster really liked it because it's very rare. I'll bring him back to Taiwan. For Ching wants to adopt a kid, and I told her, you know, a black kid. And then she said no, because it feels like you cannot wash him enough. But I said, no, don't worry. You know, I'll spray perfume on him, and he doesn't have to worry about mosquitoes, because in the dark room, the mosquitoes will not be able to find him. They're all dark, unless if he opens his mouth. I like this black kids. They're really cute. I asked for Ching to adopt one. Sometimes it's really useless. When it is useless, it really is useless. You try to move qi to that part, but you have the desire, but you don't have the power. Where does the power come from? It's from the qi. Like if you punch or when you run, how could you do it there? It's because of the qi. This is also about qi. As soon as the husband laid in bed, he started to snore, and the wife couldn't stand it anymore, so pushed him and then asked him, "You don't let me sleep? You snore so loudly." And snoring also relies on the movement of the qi. And the husband closed his eyes and said, "When you scolded me in the daytime, I don't say anything. And now when I make sounds at night, you scolded me. How can I live like this?" Actually, even snoring, you need qi. Speaking, you also need qi. There's a Dharma sister that asks if there is a practice to stop snoring because she snores at night. You know, just pinch your nose and then you would stop snoring. In Tantrayana, practicing Qi is the same as practicing the mind. The mind and Qi are not separated. When Qi is calm, the mind is calm. And when Qi is moving, the mind is also moving. So in practice, I taught you to practice the light drop light. And when it appears and it moves, why does it move? Because your mind moves. So it moves. If your mind doesn't move, the Qi doesn't move, then the light drop light would be only one drop, and it doesn't move. And you enlarge the light drop light, or you chain a lot of them together, then it would become Vajra chain. So you use Qi to connect them. Qi and light combine. And when the heart Qi doesn't move, you use the heart Qi to make it to become Vajra chain, to connect them. And when you connect them to become a screen that is Vajra screen. And from the Vajra screen, you would be able to see your yidam. And your yidam will teach you and will attract you. So that's the meaning. If you see the light of the light drop, and you use the heart Qi to connect them to become Vajra chain, and then become Vajra screen, and that's all rely on the skill of your meditation. In order to see the light of the light drop or the Vajra chain or Vajra screen, that relies on the power of your meditation. And when you reach the state, the Buddhas and the yidam would appear. And you can either ask the deity to guide you to the Pure Land, or you train your own inner fire and inner light, and to connect with the Buddhas, and you would attain Buddhahood directly in this lifetime. There are many kinds of tantric practices in spiritual cultivation. Like one of the mark of the Buddha is the hidden horse mark, which is you take in the secret parts into the body. When you do martial arts, you don't want that part to be hit. Like for men, when they perform kung fu, the secret parts is the weak point. Because if that part is being hit, then you would lose strength. So when you have attainment in your Qi practice, the secret parts can be pulled into your body, including the two balls can be retracted. So that's the sign or the mark of the hidden horse. So the Buddha has this mark, and this means that the Buddha has trained in Qi really well, that it can pull in the secret parts, so that it doesn't matter who kick or hit that part, he will not be affected. The teacher asks the students to make a sentence from wrinkle with the word wrinkle. And a student wrote, my dad's eggs have lots of wrinkles. And then the teacher asked the parents, how could you ask your kids see that part? And then the parents said, oh, because he cannot write the face. This is also Chinese. So the face in Chinese is like face egg. So he could not write the word face, and he write eggs. And eggs in Chinese also means that balls. So when you have attainment in your qi practice, then you would know how to do the hidden horse. You can pull it in. And then when you want to use it, like if you need to go to urinate, then you can let it out. You would have great power. You will not have urine incontinence. You don't need diaper even when you're old. So you can hold your urine and you can let it out when you want to, and you can hold it when you want to. And you can even use your inner fire to evaporate the urine. And then how about the toxins? You can let them out from the skin pores. When the pores sweat, you use the inner fire to evaporate the liquid, and then these pores would sweat. So you can do this, so you don't have to urinate at night in bed. When you feel that you need to urinate, you draw in a breath and then burn it with the inner fire, and then it would evaporate and there's no more urine, and then you let it out from the skin pores. Last night I felt really hot. The skin felt really hot and I sweat a lot. And I told Simu last night, when I woke up, I told Simu, I sweat and my skin felt really hot because I didn't get up and urinate, because you hold the urine. Actually, you should not hold your urine because you may have toxicity from that. It's not good. If you feel like you need to urinate, you have to go. But sometimes you are in deep sleep and you don't want to get up because you would feel cold. And you feel good inside the blanket. So at that time, I just used the holding up. And then it is excreted through the skin. And the skin felt hot. So sometimes such a phenomena happened. So Qi Gong, or the practice of Qi, is very important. Every morning I do this practice. It's called the Fu Xing Qi Gong, which is also called the treasure vase Qi energy, Qi yoga. So you draw in the breath like a vase, and to let the Qi to merge with the central channel, and until you cannot hold it, then you excrete, you exhale. And you do this inhalation and exhalation, and combined with the divine water practice. So this is a kind of Qi practice. That's all for tonight. Om Mani Padme Hum.